very heartfelt, and I could feel your passion all the way from you. So thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now moving on. Our next speaker is someone who I actually have met very recently. And I must say, ever since I've met him, he kind of strikes me as someone who is very, very grounded, very composed, you know, full of knowledge. He's been a Toastmaster for 14 years, probably just 1 year more than DTM Robin. And when I saw him for the first time speaking, I knew what kind of profession he was in, because I'm in the same profession. So we can see each other from a distance. He is the training manager for an offshore service company. And just like DTM Nelson said earlier, he's one of the best division directors that the district had. He's the immediate past division edge director. He is also, since he's been around for a while, he has founded a club, and that club is the Human Rights Advanced Toastmaster Club in 2011. They've been around for a while. He's also a Pathways ambassador since 2018. Now, Devlal, I'm going to bring you in here in 10 seconds. Now, you've been in Toastmaster for 14 years. So apart from your busy Toastmaster life, what fun thing do you do in your free time to disconnect that we don't know about?
I am the kind of guy, good morning, Ahmed.
Good morning.
Thank you for the introduction. I am the kind of guy who would like to dabble in as many things as possible, even if it is something that I'm not really good at. But as the younger version of me was probably more interested in cartooning and painting and theater and music and everything. I'm not really good at any of these things, but I want to poke my nose into everything.
That's good. That's the best way to learn. You know, you poke your nose into everything that you don't know so that you can learn it. Ladies and gentlemen, our key trainer for today about this incredible topic that we are all here for today, club mentoring. Please put your hands together for DTM Devlal.
Thank you, Ahmed, and a fantastic good morning to all those who are here this Friday morning. We've been redefining the purpose of a Friday morning or the afternoon for so many years, right? So thank you for being here, first of all. Mentoring. It's kind of tough to talk about a topic like mentoring soon after DTM Robin has kind of got inside your head. You know, he started off with the Mona Lisa smile. Now, what can I do to beat that? There's just no way. Brother, my request to district is this: put this guy after me. Let me speak first and get away with whatever I have and then bring in the stars, okay? Otherwise, the placebo effect, have you heard about that? Anyway, too late to talk about that. Mentoring is a topic which is very, very close to me because it's one of those things that gives you immense satisfaction at the end of it. But is there an end to it? That's the question, right? But yes, it still gives you immense satisfaction because you can help people in so many ways. And anyone who's been in that position, even if you have given a candy to a kid, you know how good that feels. So this session, we will go through the experience called mentoring. Basically mentoring a club and not individuals, even though there are so many things that overlap when you talk about mentoring club versus member. We will talk about that. And I would like to be part of this conversation. This isn't a class, this is a conversation. So feel free to interrupt, but let's do it in a methodical way. Let's bring in a bit of order to the chaos. So the chat box is open for all of you. In case you would like to express your opinion or ask a question, put that question in the chat box. And even if I can't really see that somebody would bring that to my attention, then you get an opportunity to talk about it. And let's keep it very, very brief and to the topic. All right. Okay, that's one thing. Finally, I also would like to get feedback. Like Ahmed said, I do training for a living, and I'm still learning. I do not know everything, and I'm constantly trying to make it more worthwhile for everyone who's listening to me. So I will have a little link posted in the chat box, which you may click and get me some feedback at the end of it, right? There's also a Q&A session at the end of it, but if you have questions in between, please do not feel shy to ask me. And if I do not know, I will I will push them over to DTM Robin. All right, so we are good to go. I'm going to share my screen in a moment, and I hope you can see the first slide, right? Okay, cool. Yes, mentoring matters, of course. That is why we are here. I would like you to take about 10 to 15 seconds and look at the next slide, form some opinions about it, and tell me what do you think. In the chat column, if you want to grab the mic and tell me what do you think, please go ahead and do that. But take about 10 seconds and not more than that to take a look at this picture. I didn't draw it, by the way. Okay, I'm not that good.
A father proud of his son.
One. Okay. May I have your name, please?
Samir.
Samir. Good morning, Samir. How are you doing? All right. Tell me, what do you think about it?
I think it's a father who.
Okay.
The father is taking credit for the son who is.
Okay. The father is calling his son his protege. Fantastic. All right. I didn't really think about that angle at all. Thank you, Samir. Thank you for that. Anybody else who would like to quickly share some opinions? There you go. I see some names in the chat box. Who's that? Binu Krishnan. He says, children learn by seeing what you do. Absolutely true. That's a universal fact, right? Narayanan, Toastmaster Narayanan says, wife is the ultimate trainer. Okay. So you mean the wife is probably posing a question and the husband is dutifully answering that. And he says, this gentleman here is my protege. Toastmaster Arnold says, setting an example, good or bad. Muhammad Murad, Toastmaster Muhammad Murad is in the house. He says, I'm not a father, I'm a mentor. Oh, okay. Somebody else says, I can't find the name. It says, like father, like child. Protege is copying the boss. Okay, we found one thing there, because the protege is copying the boss. Oh, boss is a pretty heavy word for a mentor, but I'll take that. Family is the basic school. We got comments coming in. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. I would like to highlight a couple of things here. As you can see, the protege and the mentor, they are wearing the same dress. Now, how do you interpret that? Yesterday, when I asked this question to a bunch of my friends, yes, last night, they said it's because the protege had been influenced by the mentor. Quite possible. If your mentor is such an influential person, especially like DTM Robin, I'm going to keep picking on him, okay? If it's somebody like them, he probably would smile like him, talk like him, dress like him. It's quite possible. A mentor can be quite influential. And another person say, oh, well, it's maybe because the mentor has asked the protege to wear those clothes. Look at the way they sit, the way they dress. They've got the same drink. They even have the same posture. They've got that, one leg on top of the other. They're mirroring each other. Okay. Well, all this could possibly happen in the influence of a mentor. I'm not going to go and analyze it and say that this is bad and that is not good and all that. But it's possible that all this could happen in a relationship between a mentor and the mentee or the protege, which could be a club, because mentor can be deeply influential. We would go quickly through these at the beginning of the session. Sharing of knowledge, the official duties of a mentor. What do you mean by club meeting quality? How can you help with the club membership, the recognition, the education program, that is the syllabus, the pathways program of Toastmasters International, and finally, the distinguished club program. How do you define a club mentor? Once again, if you would like to drop in some comments into the chat box, please go ahead and do that. Okay, what do you think is a club mentor? The definition of a club mentor in your own language, not the TMI definition. In your own language, if you would like to give out a few definitions, please go ahead and do that. If you have any definitions, please go ahead and do that. Someone who coaches your club. Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Amir. Someone who coaches your club, yes. And I'm gonna an advisor, very good term, a guide. A guide, this is a beautiful term that explains the role of a mentor, a guide, a coach, a friend, a philosopher, right? Mentors the new charter members as a whole. Fantastic. Toastmaster Ali Shabazz Ali is in the house. Woo-hoo. All right. Who can monitor the club? All right. Someone who aligns the club to your motivation. All right. You got a bunch of folk coming in, and almost all of you are 100% right. Okay. What about this gentleman? Club coach. How do you distinguish a club mentor from a club coach? Anyone? Quickly. The difference. You can grab the mic if you would like to. So, Master, if you would like to hand over the mic to somebody who wants to talk about it, go ahead and do that, please. Is anyone?
So, a club mentor is someone who has probably served in their own clubs and lifted their club and taking that experience and sharing it to other clubs. A club coach is someone who inspires or motivates by guiding them through asking good questions.
Okay. I wouldn't refute it. Yes. Anybody else? Anyone else who can quickly grab? Suresh, Toastmaster Suresh is club mentor shows the light on the path. He's the light and the way. Oops. Oh, it's running. There are lots of club coach role is to take a club above a certain number. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Club coach has a specific goal, but mentor's goal, there is no limit.
Okay, all right. That's a very broad definition for these two roles. One thing you got to remember, just like Samir said in the beginning, and somebody else put it in the chat column, you as a mentor for a club, you are in it for the long haul. You are in it for your lifetime. It's not really it doesn't really have a specific end to that relationship. You could be with that club forever. Okay. But a club coach is usually appointed by the district director, okay, or the club director, for a club when that club needs help, a specific help. And its tenure for a club coach could be for 6 months to 1 year, depending on the complexity of the job. And you also have a club sponsor, right? If you have been a club sponsor, and if you are listening to me, give me a thumbs up using your emoticons. Okay, you also know that it's another immensely satisfying experience to be a club sponsor, because you are in the part of the process in delivering a new baby to the Toastmaster community. We know how good that is. All right, let's go deeper into this topic. Thank you everyone for your comments. Club mentor, as I explained, is in it for the long haul. It's a long-term affair, and you're there to share your expertise. So, which tells us one more thing. A very young new Toastmaster generally do not get the opportunity to be a mentor, because you need to gather a certain amount of experience and knowledge before you can become a club member, which is why a club mentor is usually handpicked to do this job, right? Because you have to share that expertise. Translate values and strategies into productive actions. I will come to that in a little later. Invest in the future. That's again a big sentence. You are investing in the future. And you bring in fresh perspectives when you are a mentor. The reason being, as a mentor, you might have seen a lot of Toastmasters. You've attended a lot of club meetings. You've attended a lot of trainings, and all that interaction brings in a wealth of experience. And sometimes that might have changed the way you look at things, look at the world, the way you deal with people. All that could become a major advantage for the new club that you are helping to form. So those are the fresh perspectives. These are very general statements, and we'll come into a few more specifics. And finally, teamwork. You will be the glue that holds that team together, or you could be. It's a saying that I've completely stole from Toastmaster International itself, and that is this: give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, and teach a man a fish and you feed him for a lifetime. And why is this sentence important for a mentor? Simply because even though I keep saying that you are in it for the long haul, you're going to be there for a long time, you probably would stick with the club for another 10 years. In spite of all that, there would be a time when you have to really step back and let the club go forward without you telling them where to go. The mentor is not a person with a stick telling the cart on the bullock. Okay, it's not called people bullocks. But you're not going to tell them where to go. You are a facilitator, right? So you've got to teach this kid. You've got to mentor this club. in such a way that they will have the confidence to go ahead and do things on their own at some point in time. You're going to be like this parent who was sent your first child to the nursery, and you're going to stand back and wonder, oh, is he going to be all right? Is she going to be all right? Isn't it? It's going to be there in the beginning, but you've got to step back and then let them go forward. DCP progress. Those who have been club mentors might have come across this problem sometime during the mentoring process. We will assume that a lot of people would know a lot of things. And I'll tell you a little secret. I'll share a personal experience. So this friend of mine and I, we were, he's been in the Toastmasters for a few years, 4 or 5 years. And we were discussing about his future plans and all that. We talked about the requirements for DTM and stuff like that. And then finally he asked me during this conversation, Devlal, which is a higher position? Is the area director or the division director? Now, at first, I thought this guy was trying to pull a fast one on me. And I was like, oh my God, he's been in Toastmasters for 3 or 4 years and he doesn't know anything about an area director and a division director. But that was the truth. He did not know. So let's just not assume that when you're a mentor, let's not assume. Let's imagine that I may have to start from the basics. Okay? Because there could be people who might have received wrong information or probably received no information at all and a part of the club, maybe even in the process of forming a club. So you've got to ensure that the basics are done right. DCP progress, Distinguished Club Program process. I know that the session is not about DCP, but explain the basics of the program to the club. And the first thing that should come from your mouth is not this: get President's Distinguished status by the end of the year. That is not our job, all right? Sometimes you can intimidate a club by telling this right away, straight off the bat, okay? Get 10 points. First of all, they're not putting their goals, and it's a little too early. First, the safest, the best way to do is what? Explain the whole process. What's the purpose of DCP? Because these are vital signs that tell you whether a club is healthy or not, right? It's one of those things. And explain the process, let them buy into it, and then maybe together you can set some goals which are smart, realistic, and achievable. Forms and documents. Could be a voting ballot. Oh, well, before I go into it, once again, all you Fantastica audience, would you like to put it in the chat column and tell me what kind of things would you introduce to a new club? What kind of forms and documents would you introduce to a new club? Not necessarily in the order of importance, but just a few in the chat column, please, if you would like to. Oh, I just noticed this particular sentence from DTM Ravi was a little late. Teach fishing and need to give equipment to fish too. I'm going to write it down because I've got a story to share regarding that. I'll come to that. Thank you so much, Ravi. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to mention a few. Member interest survey, fantastic. Okay. Yes. We recently had a session on moments of truth. So it's about the right time to do that. Tracking members' education journey. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gaurav, because you've got to create records of what the members are doing in the club right from the first day. Otherwise, 6 months later, you look back and say, oh, I don't know who did what. Okay, so you've got to have club records. And one of those things is definitely tracking the members' education journey. Role script, TME's role script. Oh, I believe that is what you meant, right? Deepa Sanjayan. This happens quite a few times. It has happened many times, in fact. You assign the role of a TME to a very new Toastmaster, and that person goes and does a job which could have been done better. And then you realize, well, there was a script for a TME. I don't know about it. So these little things can be, especially for the first meeting. Toastmaster Robin says membership interest survey. Yes. Find out where they want to go and then see if you can align that with the club goals. Member interest survey. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your input. Forms and documents. Perform administrative tasks. Every club officer has got administrative tasks to perform, and help them with that. Once again, details we will touch upon a little later. Sometimes my slides. Oh, yes. Current and back issues of the leader letter. This we receive in the email, right? one of those things that is a nice thing to do is take one of the copies of a leader letter during one of those mentoring sessions with your club. Go through the leader letter. Let them understand they are part of an area, which is a part of a division, which is a part of a district, because there are still Toastmasters who don't understand how big is the organization that you are a part of. They don't realize that you are in an organization that has got its reach and influence over 140 countries. It's a multinational organization. So when you receive a letter all the way from Toastmasters International Headquarters, it helps you understand that you're part of that. So take sometimes a copy of it, go through it. Official duties. Well, it's got to be a strong and functional club, right? Now, this is very easy to be said. Anyone who's been a part of forming a club understands that that is a lot of work. But anyone who's been a part of that club, helping that club to sustain, will realize that that job was a lot more easier. Being with a club and making sure that you ensure that the club gets through that first 6 to 12 months, that is tough as nails job. It is a very, very difficult job to do. It takes almost everything out of you, because there would be doubts and there would be concerns and people who may come in and leave, and the first 6 to 12 months could be chaotic. So you got to have a strong and functional club. You got to stick with it. Right now, I cannot tell you how things can go wrong, what could go wrong. But I can tell you this from my personal experience, and anybody who's sitting out there and being a part of mentoring a club, especially right from the beginning, they can tell you things can challenge you. Things can be may look daunting, and it would be, because it's not an easy job. So your mental resilience can play a huge part in this. Train the club officers. Now, one argument is this: well, we have had the club officers training, right? They took part in it, they gained those points and all that. So why do we need to train the club officers? Can anyone quickly put it in the chat box or grab the microphone and tell me why, as a club member, you still need to train the club officers? Anybody can grab the mic if that is okay, so that we can bring in another voice into this mix.
I'll keep quiet.
Okay. Oh, Samir is like my savior. All right, I'll buy you a cup of coffee at the end of this, buddy. All right, go ahead. Yes, Samir.
To keep consistency in the way that you operate.
Okay, I'll accept that. Anybody else? Toastmaster Rani, would you like to chip in? Why do you have to do a little bit of training from your side as a mentor? I'm sure you would have done that. Hello, Rania? DTM Rania, would you like to contribute something? Yeah.
Hi. Oh, someone's speaking. Sorry. Let's have the guest speak first.
Okay.
No, please go ahead, DTM Rania.
No. Carry on, please.
All right. I was just going to say, this is Prabhakar, by the way, from Voltas Toastmasters Dubai. I was just going to say that as a member, you could quite possibly be a mirror for your ex-com. The ex-com are trying to do what is good for the members, but how would they know that they're doing all right unless they hear and get feedback from the members? That's the duty of the members, to share feedback and give back to the ex-com in terms of what is good and what could be better. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Prabhakar. I'm not sure if I phrased my question correctly, because my question was about how as a club mentor, not as a member, the mentor, you may have to do some secondary training, subsequently after the club officers training, to your own club officers. That was actually the question, and I understand what you meant. Thank you.
Sure. I mean, sorry, I guess I heard member.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead if you would like to share.
A big part of what I said still holds good. As a mentor, yes. The duty of yours is to actually be the mirror to the ex-com officers and point out what they're doing well and what can they do better and what the members need. So pretty much what I said still holds. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Prabhakar. There are multiple reasons why you may have to do that. One, maybe the club was formed after the club officers training was done, so they probably missed that opportunity. Number two, maybe not all club officers were not aware of it. They did not attend the training, so they are still lost. Okay, and number three, sometimes you go to a club officers training, and especially if it is online, you're probably listening to the first person, you get bored, you start doing your nails. I don't know, you're on Netflix, you're chatting, so you lose it. So there are so many opportunities why information may not really get in. People retain it, understand it during a club officers training. And I'm not saying the club officers trainings are ineffective or anything. I'm just saying that it could happen no matter how engaging and useful are the training sessions. Some people may not get it, they may not attend it, they may not understand everything. So as the club mentor, you need to ensure that you spend time with these club officers and take them through the basics another time. Club quality meetings. Help prepare and plan club quality meetings. Now, quality is a very general term once again, so helping them specifically with this, sky's the limit. How do we help prepare and plan club quality meetings? Now, as I said at the beginning, you are a person who's been in Toastmasters for quite some time. You have attended meetings probably across the world, and you have seen good practices in many parts, including your own club. So what you do is you come to the new club and you give suggestions. This perhaps is a good idea. Why don't you have a guest feedback register? Why don't you record it? It could be little things. Okay, introducing every single guest who attends the meeting before the meeting starts, give them an opportunity to speak, collecting feedback them at the end of the meeting. There could be little things. The way you prepare the agenda, the way you address Toastmasters and guests during a meeting, the way you recognize the milestones achieved by your members in front of the club before the meeting starts, make them feel good, make them feel part of the club, or little things. We understand, it's with us, it's a repository of wisdom and knowledge that we have gained. Little ideas, share it with the club, and let it become a habit for them. Once you get started with these good things right away from the beginning. I've seen personally, if anybody's from the Khalifa City Toastmasters, a shout out to them. Something beautiful they do is, I'm talking about the times when people used to meet in person. The general evaluators report, they have actually a register. They'll give you the register and you write. You're not just scribbling in a piece of paper and they're reading it out. You actually write in the register. So you got to put in more effort into it, and it becomes a record of it. How beautiful is that? Okay, so little things can matter. And create a member service perspective. Please understand, and tell them right away in the beginning, just because you're an officer or you've got a title, please understand it's not a title. Let them understand right from the beginning that it is a responsibility. None of us have authority, we have responsibilities. So that developing a service culture in the club right from the beginning is very important. Membership, why more members? So once again, quickly, we can have a few ideas dropped in the chat box, and if anybody would like to talk about it, why do we always, okay, I know, the district would keep telling you, especially the club growth director would send you emails about, okay, we have this club membership building programs. Why do we need more members in our club? How is that going to benefit? Forget about the goals and stuff, but why do we need more members in our club? Shoot some ideas across into the chat box, or maybe hand over the microphone to someone. Toastmaster Amir once again says, more members help us to increase energy, participation. Yes, fantastic call. To get more ideas, of course, more members, more ideas, more energy, fresh perspective, new blood. Toastmaster Clue says new blood. She's in for blood. Club will, of course, the club will get good funds. Of course you need funds, otherwise it's going to be tough, right? How many times are you going to swipe your own credit card for the sake of the club? To have quality meeting, variety, more members, yes, help us grow fast. Thank you so much. These are all wonderful ideas, and those are all the reasons why you need them. The more members bring in your club, which means you are spreading the word of Toastmasters among your community. And that means more people are benefiting from it. And then, if I have to go to Toastmaster Khulud's word, when that new blood comes in and mixes with the existing blood, magic happens. You bringing in more ideas. You're bringing in a fresh perspective. And then you realize that the club is not what it used to be last year. Okay, all the fresh ideas will change the club for the better. And remember this, we are human beings. Some of us may retire, some of us may go back to our home country, some of us people may sometimes decide to take a break, people lose jobs. So many things happen, and people continue to leave club also. It's another phenomenon we need to accept and acknowledge. So you've got to bring in more new members to make sure that the club is stable. Toastmaster Jackson says, when you become a leader of your own personal development, you can't stop to lead others to grow. Wow. That's a quote of the day. Thank you, Toastmaster Jackson. 20 members plus. You need 20 members plus. Toastmasters International says, when you're forming a new club, you need to have a 20 members minimum in the club so that you can manage quality meetings with it. But if I have to repeat the words of DTM Balraj Arunachalam, he says going for 30, because there is a problem with 20, because there could be times when only 50% of the members may turn up for a meeting, and it's tough to manage a meeting with 10, but 15 is on the safer side. So in many ways, 30 is a healthy number. 20 is okay, but 30 is better. Membership building culture and contest. I already spoke about the membership building culture. And one thing which is very important here is this. We always congratulate the ExCom and the leaders of the club, and everybody pats everybody's back when we bring in members, right? But do we really acknowledge, call out the name of the person who brought in that new member and acknowledge that person? This is very important, okay? We've got to do this in our clubs. Sometimes the people who bring in those new members, they're forgotten. Nobody talks about them. We need to acknowledge these people, because there is nothing like, Toastmasters, they're not going to give you a plaque. Okay, well, you may get a 5-member pin, 5-member sponsor pin, or a 10-member sponsor pin. But in the club, you need to be appreciated for that good work, because this is big deal. Bringing a new member to a club, it's a big deal. So let's recognize and acknowledge the persons who bring in new members. Gain new members. It's a no-brainer. Build and maintain members. Annual individual members sponsors. Recognize them at the end of the year. Spectly Award. I will not go into the membership building awards, because you all know about Spectly and Talk Up and Beat the Clock, right? We just recently had the Spectly Award. A lot of clubs have already achieved that, and they must be feeling so good because your efforts have paid off. Remember, more membership building programs are coming, and good to tell the members in advance about these programs so that your membership activities can be planned and managed much in advance. Otherwise, what could happen if you don't plan well? Towards the end of September, for example, you may have 1 day or 2 days to go. You may lose your Spectly because of one member, right? So if you set that plan of action in motion in the beginning, that wouldn't happen to you. What is DCP? It's important to talk about this right from day one. But like I said, do not push an agenda on the club. As a mentor, let them decide it for themselves. Educate them, let them make their own decision. But explain to the purpose of a distinguished club program to them. Go through all the 4 different kind of goals you have, the administrative and the educational and the membership and training, etc. And explain to them how this is important for the club and how this contributes to the overall health of the club. Excuse me. You can use the DCP plan. The club where I'm a part of, they use a spreadsheet to plan the DCP. You can send out a survey to all the members and find out where do they want to go, what do they want to do during this year, and then align it with the club DCP goals. Always remember, the member is at the center of it. Our aim is to make sure that the member gets the maximum out of the club. And when all the members get the maximum out of the club, your DCP plan will fall into place. Excuse me. Do not put the DCP in the beginning and the club member at the last. Okay, this is my personal opinion, and I'm sure that a lot of senior Toastmasters would agree with me. DCP is not the destination. That is a bonus. If we have quality club meetings, if our members are happy, if we deliver what we have promised to deliver to the club members, your DCP will happen. It will just fall into place. A few things personally from my side is I would like all the aspiring club mentors or those who are currently the mentors, few things you can do. You can go out of the box. You can go out of the manual, the stuff that we are supposed to do, and then help the club in a few more other ways. And one is help them with the website and with the peer activities. You may have other people guiding them. I know that the club has got a VPPR, but help them, give them ideas. They may not know where to get started. Give them tips and tricks. Maybe get in people from other clubs. Okay, assist them with this, because this club needs to establish their position in the area and the division and district and so on and so forth. So help them gain that foothold in the organization by being with them, by giving these little helps. Combined meetings. Clubs wouldn't even know about these kind of things. Tell them that, yeah, you could put your hand around the shoulder of another Toastmaster from another club and attend a meeting. And especially these days, it's so convenient, right? All you got to do was invite people to your own Zoom meetings. So it's a lot more easier these days. You don't have to worry about, do we have enough chairs? No. So club meetings are a lot more easy to manage these days, and they are fun to do, right? So introduce this concept. Encourage networking. Let them understand they are part of a global organization. Explain it to them. Use the maps that are there in the TMI website that shows the different regions and the districts, and tell them you are a part of a worldwide movement. And let them understand the benefits of networking. Let them understand the pleasures of making friends in different parts of the world. And especially with online meetings, you can attend meetings in any part of the world, right? So encourage that. Share the meeting links with them. Take them with you. Education sessions. Do not always depend upon what the district and the division or the area plans for them. Conduct it yourself, or get your friends, people who you know, Toastmasters who can deliver quality sessions for them. Invite them and conduct sessions only for the club, especially during the first 6 to 12 months. This can do magic to the club. So go out and help them and find mentors for members. Now, here is a challenge we have, because in the beginning, not too many seasoned experienced Toastmasters could be there in a new club. They need mentors. It might not be possible for them to find mentors from their own club, because it's almost impossible. So talk to the senior members, experienced members in your area, in your division, and invite these members and ask them, would you like to mentor some of the members in a new club? So get more mentors for the club that you're mentoring. And that would be it. All right. I'm going to go back to Toastmaster Ravi Musad said in the beginning, or in between. There was a sales executive who was selling the world's best chainsaw, the thing that you can cut a tree with. So while he was, kind of exploring his new territory, he went to a village and he saw there was a monk, and he had a pile of chopped wood, firewood, and he was selling it. And he went and asked, hey, excuse me, sir, how much money do you make at the end of the day? I mean, this guy was really healthy, with rippling muscles, and he was look content, happy. He said, I make a couple of dollars. Why? And he said, see, I've got beautiful equipment here, okay? You give me $50 and I can give you this, and this can change your life. You know how sales executives are, right? And no offense to any sales agents in this audience, but some of us can sell a dead fly to a blind spider. So this guy managed to sell a chainsaw to this monk, and he said, this is going to change your life. And then he left. Sale was done. He took the money. It took some talking, but he did it. And finally, about a couple of years later, he came back to the same village, and he saw the same monk, this time selling firewood. But this time his health deteriorated. He didn't look happy. He didn't look contented. He looked like a shadow of the person who met 2 years ago. And he asked him, oh my God, sir, what happened? What happened? He looked at him and he said, you ruined my life. You gave me that stupid thing that doesn't work, and you ruined my life. I used to get at least $2, $3 a day. Now I get nothing. He was surprised. What happened? Because that stupid thing doesn't work. Show me, what is it? He said, it's lying in my hut in a corner. So he visited the hut. He picked up the chainsaw and he pulled the cord. Vroom! It roared into life. And the poor monk said, hey, what is that noise? Let that sink in for a second. So yes, Toastmaster Ravi. Giving the tools is one thing, but teaching them to use it that is also a big deal. And as mentors, we've got to do both. Okay, give them the tools, teach them how to use it, and after some time, step back and watch them chop firewood and make dollars, figuratively speaking. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you have questions, grab the mic, put it in the chat column. Let's talk about it for another few more minutes. Thank you.